And we begin tonight with the investigation into the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on the campus of Utah Valley University. Investigators now searching for the suspect in that shooting.
And today they released this image of a person of interest in the case. The FBI is now offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Investigators now have the rifle that they believe the suspect used to kill Kirk. It was found in a wooded area near campus. Officials said they have been able to track the movements of the shooter and have good video of the suspect.
Here in Connecticut, young conservatives who looked up to Charlie Kirk spoke with our political reporter Mike Cerulli about the impact that he had on them and the movement as a whole. Mike.
Good evening to you, Darren and Catherine. You know, when you talk to young conservatives, you hear so many stories about how their first experience with politics and political debate was through a Charlie Kirk video or a Turning Point USA event. And you also hear quite a bit about how he was a role model for a growing part of a generation that is changing the face of American politics.
He was often the first person that someone would see, that they would hear, that would motivate them to become involved in politics.
At 25 years old, Connecticut Young Republicans Chairman Patrick Berland is part of a generation of American conservatives who were galvanized by Charlie Kirk and the unique brand of outspoken, prove-me-wrong politics that the late 31-year-old pioneered.
He is one of the people that made being a conservative on a college campus cool again.
That change in cultural attitudes has manifested in a notable shift in the youth vote toward Republicans. Zach Kessel, a 24-year-old conservative writer, explains.
You look at the results of the 2024 election, how President Trump did, especially with Gen Z males, that Charlie Kirk made a massive and very real electoral impact.
There would not nearly be the number of young conservatives that there are now without Charlie Kirk, and frankly, even more so, the number of young conservatives is almost besides the point. It's how much he empowered young conservatives and even just young people who were curious about the political process to get involved and to feel comfortable in the conviction of their beliefs.
That's Andrew Tamaro, another Gen Z conservative and local elected official here in Connecticut. Without a doubt, the conviction of Kirk's beliefs often brought controversy. Protests of his campus events were frequent, but for those who now mourn him, the loud debates he spurred were part of the point. People of differing views exchanging words, not violence. In a joint statement, the state's young Republicans and young Democrats both said what happened at Utah Valley University is unacceptable. We reject all forms of political violence. There is no place in our country for such acts, regardless of political disagreements.
And in the last 24 hours, we have seen a lot of those joint statements from other youth political groups and from both the Connecticut Democratic and Republican parties here in Connecticut, calling for an end to political violence. In Cheshire tonight, I'm Mike Cerulli, News 8.